how the school system was created in the system that we're in right now, you guys, it was created on purpose to create employees. It's so much conditioning to take away the free spirit out of human beings. I couldn't find anything that was fitting the needs of what I envisioned. And so I was like, okay, if it doesn't exist and I can't find it, that means that there's a need for this. Most of the people that I have met that are really successful entrepreneurs drop out of school because they're so smart. They realize this is a waste of my time and I could go create magic in this world at 14, 15, 16 way quicker than getting this dumb education that's like literally not helping me do anything. I envision a school where children are encouraged to be their unique and authentic selves, one where kids can come and learn through exploratory play, the freedom of expression, and maintaining the uniqueness of who they truly are. Hello, you guys. Welcome to this week's episode of the Expand and Evolve podcast. I'm your host, Carly Pinch. If you've never been here before, thank you so much for being here. I just realized that I left my bathroom door open, so we're just going to roll with that. But what I wanted to share this week is I wanted to talk about the school, the vision that I had for it, answer some questions, share where this idea came from, share some pieces of vision that I've written down over the last few years as this idea has been being curated within me, and really what has led to it becoming a reality, I guess you could say. And a lot of the first steps have already been done, but like now I feel we're actually ready to start talking about enrolling kids, tuition, all of those types of details as the permits and everything gets ready for the actual school to be built. And so kind of wanted to go through that and at the same time educate in the sense of like bringing your thoughts into reality, and how I've been listening to this book, The Science of Getting Rich, and it is so good because it talks about how as humans, we are literally here on this earth to take our thoughts and put them into form, create thought forms, basically, where we turn the thought into a physical creation. So we have the thought first, and then we take that thought and put it into an actual physical creation here on this earth. And by doing so, you get rich. And the whole premise of this book, like it's so freaking good, you guys, because it helps bring you back to the fact that like that is what we're literally on planet Earth designed to do. We are all unique. We all have our own vision, our own ideas, our own thing that we get pulled to, our own passion. And like that is the thing we need to lean into and have the courage to go out and act on. Like you don't need to be an expert. I don't know what I'm doing. I have my own experience with school and I have my experience with what I'm doing with my kids and the gaps that I've seen. I didn't wake up one day like, I want to be a teacher and I'm so passionate about childhood education. Like that's actually not my passion at all for myself personally. But this is why I've said, like, I feel like this is such a like God thing because it's something that it's like a vision that's been placed on me to go execute on, because I'm seeing that like there's so many people who think about things, but they don't actually do it. So even though they know there's a need for this, they know how much this would benefit people. There's teachers out here that know that this is what the school system needs. This is what kids are needing to adapt in the world today. It's not being done. And so I've looked, like when I started looking for a school for my kids, I was like, I couldn't find anything that was fitting the needs of what I envisioned. And so I was like, okay, if it doesn't exist and I can't find it, that means that there's a need for this. And I didn't come at this from a place of trying to see like, how big could I make it and where could this be? And like out of a business idea, this came from a service-hearted need of what I was seeing for my own kids. And through talking to a lot of parents have seen that this is for their children too. And so from that, the idea was born of creating this school. And I'm going to read you some of the stuff that I've written down because I think it's cool and you guys can have a better idea of this vision that I have. But I really want you to see like the school may not be your thing for you. You may have never had a thought to create a school. You're not meant to create a school. So it's like, even if you see someone else doing something, this is what I also want to say, like, you could be thinking like, oh my gosh, that's something I want to do one day. And maybe you are meant to do that. But I think sometimes what happens is we see other people doing things and we jump on it and almost feel like, oh my God, we're missing out because that person got to it first, or that person did the thing first, or created the thing first. And it's like, there's never not enough. And so what I mean by that is like, there is always an abundance, and an idea wouldn't be placed upon you if it's a real soul pull that you're feeling. Even if other people have done it before, you're going to do it in a different way. Your vision for what you want to create is unique and you need to act on that. So like, I'm being very mindful in this process. People are sending me other schools and other places. And I'm like, to be honest, I was like this with parenting too, with building my business. I stay so locked into my own vision because I feel like it is essential not to get it construed with all these other things that other people are doing. Because as soon as I start taking in what everyone else is doing, it's skewing, is that the right word? At what my true vision really is. And so I want to share this with you guys because if there's something that you're feeling pulled to create, yes, do research and yes, look around and see what's out there. But for me, I've just stayed clear on my vision. I don't need to go look around, do research, see what everyone else is doing and take that in. I'm just going to go all in with the vision that I have and trust that that's what I need to go off of. I don't need to know what everyone else is doing. I don't need to know what's even working for other people. I don't care. I'm my unique person that gets to build something out of my unique viewpoint. And that's the magic and the beauty of it. I've done this in how I've built my business. I've done this through anything that's allowed me to be successful in my life. I find if I take in everyone else's thoughts and opinions and ways of doing things and all of it's it clouds your judgment and it fills your mind with so much stuff. Does this make sense? So I wanted to share that before I even go into details about the school, because I feel like for anyone who is listening, it doesn't take this as something that could be your own thing. It doesn't have to be you're creating a school. It could be that you're creating anything, any type of business that you have. But I feel like these principles are really important when you are going to go create something is what's the mission of it? What's your vision that you have? Are you crystal freaking clear on the vision that you have? I'm going to share with you some of the things I wrote down over the last 2 years. That is nuts how much, because I wrote those things down, it's happening right now. And I feel like that's really cool to share because it's when you put what you want with clarity on paper, the way that these things start to come to you and happen in your life, and then you can look back and be like, holy crap, I wrote this down 2 years ago. And now the physical thing is happening because I had the courage to think the thought, write it down. So you're turning that thought into a form because you're actually putting it out there. And when you do that, whether you believe in source, God, universe, angels, they start to maneuver things for the thing that you want. You have to see that see it like this. You're God's creation, okay? You're a child of God, whatever you believe in, this is the truth. There's a source creator that creates all things. We are those things. We come to this earth. We are meant to use our unique gifts to create amazing, magical things on this planet. That's been lost. So many kids are lost. So many of you listening to this are lost. You don't even realize you have a unique gift because that unique gift wasn't fostered in school. You weren't encouraged to go off and do what you were actually interested in. You were encouraged to do the stuff that got you the grade and did the thing and passed the test. And it's you may not give a shit about any of that. And that's part of the reason that I wanted to start the school was because I was I want to foster every child's unique gifts, every child's unique purpose, every child's unique interest. I want to create a space where they never lose it because there is a bunch of adults, many of you who probably listen to my podcast, who lost it. You don't even know how to tap into it. It's in there, but you now have to go deprogram and deconstruct everything that's been put on you to go try to figure out what was that thing? What was that thing that you were naturally inclined to do at 4, 5, 6, 7 before it was trained out of you? For some of you who got in trouble for talking all the time, you're meant to be a talker. That's what you're literally meant to do with your life. There's some of you out there who maybe you were the math whiz, but then you had to do English and then you felt stupid because you couldn't read, but you were great at math, but you were never meant to read. That's not your thing. There's so much in a traditional school setting that's forcing kids to learn in a black and white way that doesn't allow for them to go out and create the thing that they were born to go create. And another piece of this that I feel is really important is most of the people that I have met that are really successful entrepreneurs drop out of school because they're so smart. They realize this is a waste of my time and I could go create magic in this world at 14, 15, 16 way quicker than getting this dumb education that's literally not helping me do anything. And so not that school and stuff isn't important. It is a great placeholder for a lot of things and we can learn great things there, but a lot of successful entrepreneurs drop out of school. And I feel like there's a reason for that. They know, and they're so convicted on their own path that they know what they need to go out and create. They don't need this fluff to fill time. They know what they're meant to do and create on this earth. And so my whole philosophy is I want to provide a school space, yes, because I think there's a lot of value in that for a lot of kids, but making sure that it is all geared towards understanding and learning skill sets that foster their unique creativity and gifts and magic that they're meant to bring to the world. And so wherever, I'm on a tangent. But I think that that's important even for you as a listener. If you're thinking like, I don't even know what mine is and I don't know what my thing is, I promise you have one. We all do. And it probably seems so simple. You don't think it's a gift. And that's the thing where we often overlook it. We think it's something that we need to go out and learn. And like, how do we do it? And it's like a natural born thing that comes easy to you. It's not meant to be hard. And in this book, so it talks about this, how like we each have our own unique blueprints and gifts and things that we come to the world with. And then basically when we have those thoughts, everyone has thoughts. Everyone has $1 million ideas all the time. Most people don't act on them. And so it talks about how as a child of God or whatever, like being a source of creation, that's our literal only role here, is to take our thoughts and go create on this planet. And when we go create, we are rewarded with riches. And it's like, it literally is the foundational skill set of the fact that we are abundance. Like abundance is your birthright. This is something that it's been really challenging for me to get. Like I can hear it, but can I get it? Because we've been raised where it's like, you need to work hard and do jobs to make money and you don't like it. And that's just how the world works. And it's like, no, like you get to deconstruct all of that. Your natural born gifts and talents are what you get to make money from. And it's just an energy exchange for your gifts. You are compensated with money because that's how the world works right now, is with money. So you're compensated with that because you're sharing your light, your gifts, your creations with the world. And with those creations, they often serve and help other people. We're all meant to work in unison. We're not all meant to have the same vision and create the same things. We're meant to create things that impact the world in a positive way. And so have the courage to act on the thing that you keep thinking about. Don't worry about how it's going to happen. Just have the courage to go act on it. And this is something that I was being mindful of even talking about the school in detail because it's not brought to full creation yet. And sometimes I'm really mindful about wanting to share that. But I also think taking people along the journey can sometimes be very helpful in what is being created. And I think it comes from the intention, where I think I'm getting a ton of questions right now about like what the vision is, how did this start, where did this come about? And so I felt like it would be helpful to share this piece of it, a little bit of background, and read directly from some of my notes that I've written. Because like how I work, you guys, which I think could be helpful for you guys too, like I get a lot of my downloads, thoughts, messages, ideas while I'm walking. And so a lot of the time, or while I'm driving. And so I'm not just sitting here and like, I'm going to go think and work. Like what ideas do I have? They come through typically for me when I'm moving. So if I'm walking or driving somewhere, that's when my ideas come through. And so all I have is a note on my phone. Like this entire concept has been created through like little thoughts that have come through my mind that I've noted down in my phone over the last year and a half, 2 years. So it's kind of crazy because it's like, I think I've known I'm meant to do this for a long time, but my kids weren't at the age where I had to do it. Now they're at the age where I have to do it. And just based on who I am, until I have to do something, I don't do it. I'm pretty like lazy that way, in the sense that I'm like, it doesn't need to be done yet, so I'm not going to do it. Even laundry, like I probably won't do my laundry until I have no underwear. You know what I mean? Like I just wait until I have to do something. Also, I just realized it was probably 2:22 on my clock when I said, like when I started to create this. Anyways, I just find it interesting because the 2:22 era has been so real. So I'm going to take a sip of fizz. I'm going to read some of this to you because I think it's really helpful for people to see like how a thought starts and how it can be turned into a reality. Okay. So, what else did I want to say? Just quickly off of the top of my head before I go into that. Yeah, I'll just read this. Okay. So let me open this document because it's going to be, I think, interesting for you guys to hear. So I ended up naming it Wholehearted Academy. I honestly don't know where the word wholehearted came from. It just came to me one day and I was like, okay, I guess that's the word we're going to call it. And it just kind of stuck. Like I tried to think of other names and nothing else came through. And so I was like, okay, we're just going to call it Wholehearted Academy. So kind of like a baseline idea about this is I want it to be a school that honors the heart and the soul of children. This quote I find very interesting. It's your creativity ends when you are in fear and your power ends when where your fear begins. And I'm sharing that because I feel like how we function and become successful in this world is through our creativity. And so if creativity is, think of how many people, they're like, I'm just not creative. I'm not creative. I don't know. I have nothing that I want to do creative. We think of creativity like doing art. You may not be an artist, but it doesn't mean you're not creative. Like you can create all kinds of things. And so I wrote this quote down because I feel like it's so important. Like, I'm going to reread it for you. Your creativity ends when you are in fear, and your power ends where your fear begins. So in order to make something of this world, you need to be creative and in your power. And the second that you're in a state of fear, your power goes away and your creativity goes away. And so no wonder you have all of these adults kind of sitting around like, I don't know what to do, frozen, unable to create, unable to realize their power that's within them to go do whatever it is they want to do in this world, because we're indoctrinated by fear from a really young age. Like, listen to me, do this, don't do that, like you're getting in trouble and like put in line. This is another reason I want to start a school, because it's like how the school system was created and the system that we're in right now, you guys, is so like it was created on purpose to create employees. So the bell system, the timing of the school system was for two things: to raise employees. If you want to go really on a deep dive in this, it might actually make you, it worked for a season, but it might actually make you feel sick when you realize that it's so much conditioning to take away the free spirit out of human beings. To be honest, like this is a real thing when you start to really go on the deep dive for it. And so basically, I can't even see myself right now, which is kind of throwing me off. Where even is my camera? Anyways, I'm like reading the screen, so I might be like looking all weirdo all over the place. But essentially, it goes back to the way the school system was created, like the bell system, the meal system, all of that. Think about it. It dysregulates you from yourself, because it's like if you're feeling hungry, but you can't eat until this time, you have to go pee, but you're not allowed to go to the bathroom till this time. It's disconnecting you from your body. And this may feel extreme for some of you who are not really tuned into this yet, but think of how those little micro things take you out of your power. So if I'm feeling hungry, my body's telling me I'm hungry, but I can't eat until 12. Okay, well, I'm already learning to not listen to my body's cues from a very young age. That is disconnecting you from your true source of power and your own internal knowing. I don't want my kids ever growing up feeling like someone else knows something for them that's better for them outside of them. They know what's best for them. They should be listening to that internal compass, and they have a knowing that is more intelligent than even me. Their body knows what is best. Am I here to be a guide and a parent? Yes, but I don't need to control them. And a lot of the school system, I know it's not all bad, but when you look at the structure of it and why it was created, for a lot of it, it was to indoctrinate and control children and make them into the perfect employee, the perfect, yes, sir, no, sir, whatever you say, I'm a good girl, I'm a good boy, see? And I look at you to tell me what to do. And then we wonder why we have all these adults who don't know how to function on their own, don't know how to make choices, don't know how to make decisions, don't know how to choose anything, because they always had someone else standing in front of the classroom telling them what they needed to do and telling them what was best. I don't want my kids ever being raised that way and losing their power of understanding that like their critical thinking skills and their autonomy and their own sovereignty is more important than like listening to some person tell them what's best for them. I don't want my kids to be raised like that. And I know there's a lot of other people who feel the same way. And so when you go way back to like why it was created, for one, they needed a system to help hold the kids when they had the Industrial Revolution, to like have all of these employees working, mom and dad both working. They didn't have moms at home anymore. They needed something for the kids to go. It's essentially a daycare. And a lot of teachers know this too. Like it's a glorified education system, but it's like there's a reason the hours are what they are. It's so that the typical parent can work their 9-to-5 job 5 days a week. And so they needed somewhere to send the kids. And so that is the traditional school system of what it is right now. And so my viewpoint is like, there's value in school. I liked school. I was someone who enjoyed school. I thrived there, but a lot of boys didn't. A lot of girls, some of the girls I went to school with didn't. Like that was not their wheelhouse. And so I wanted to create a space that like bridges the gap of the two, essentially, where it creates a space for, yes, people to learn like the essentials. Like you need to know how to read and write and do basic math. And like you do need those skill sets. But then also to create a space that fosters the ability for them to go learn communication skills, interpersonal skills, mindfulness skills, entrepreneurial skill sets. Like, how do I sell something? How do I create something from scratch and then earn money off of it? Like the basic things that we all wish we learned in school, that now we're adults and we're like, what the F? Why didn't we learn this in school? Why don't we just switch the school system instead of filling it with fluff? And then as you go on the deep dive of what we even learn in school, you start to realize like so much of the bullshit they fed us in like social studies and stuff like that is bias, and it's not even the truth. And so I want to bring truth. I want to bring the truth of what this world is and this planet is to kids so that they're not having to unlearn a bunch of nonsense, essentially. So I'll go back to reading this for you now. Where the hell is it? Okay. So the next thing that I wanted to read, so this is just what I wrote. I'm going to start reading what I wrote so I can stay on track. Okay. So for vision, I had just jotted this down this morning. I envision a school where children are encouraged to be their unique and authentic selves, one where kids can come and learn through exploratory play, the freedom of expression, and maintaining the uniqueness of who they truly are. So often in traditional settings, when attempting to meet the needs of so many kids, this can be really difficult. And many kids are often labeled as disruptive or unable to focus, but I believe it's the environment that just doesn't serve their learning style. Wholehearted Academy will help bridge the gap between the traditional school setting and a nature outdoor based school setting as well. We believe both are important and valuable. And the basic math, reading, writing, all of those things are just as important as learning about how to connect with the earth, harvest your own food, learn entrepreneurial skill sets, and how to authentically express yourself. We want to pull in the elements of all skill sets that will support our kids in becoming who they are meant to be, not who we think that they should be. We want to support parents on their homeschool journeys through North America while also supporting local families who are needing a different option for their kids because they know the traditional setting isn't what it's best for their kids. And those are the families we'll be focusing on serving through this play-based, inquisitive learning approach. Okay, this is just stuff I jotted down today. And then I wanted to explain the meaning of wholehearted. So when I looked it up, it was so weird. Like I just kept getting this hit that it needed to be called this. And then it showed up in a book and I'm like, that's a really random word. Like it's not commonly used. And so anyways, the definition of wholehearted is complete sincerity and commitment. We give our whole heart, and in reciprocation, the children give theirs. We're committed to living a life aligned with our heart's true calling, purpose, and mission. And it's our honor to support children in discovering what their heart is calling them to do in this lifetime. We aim to foster every child's unique gifts so that they can utilize them to impact this world in a big way. We believe every child and person comes into this life with a unique set of gifts and skill sets, and it's our job to help provide the space for them to discover theirs so that they can utilize them to go create magic in this world. That like feels really good. Doesn't that feel good? That feels really good. Anyways, okay, under goals, I'm just like, this is my brain dump, okay? I wrote, most important job of a school is to build a child's self-esteem and confidence. So giving kids the freedom to express and explore, helping kids return to the true harmony of nature. I really envision it like bridging the gap of like the 3D world and the 5D. So helping them tune into their spiritual nature and their like God-given gifts and talents, and like helping them understand that there's so much more to this world than what meets the eye. But like helping them understand that they still need to function here in this physical reality while still understanding everything that's around them, supporting them at all times. Anyway, and then also giving children the tools to adapt to an ever-changing world and supporting their unique needs through a balance of exploration, play, life skills necessary to adapt. Okay, so these are some of the like high-level lines that I wrote regarding like, you could think of it as philosophy maybe, but basically these are ideas that I've written over time. Okay. So kids' brains are designed to learn through playing and exploring in nature. We take into account a child's mind, heart, body, and soul for a holistic approach to children's development. We teach essential skills like math, reading, and writing, and allow their soul's passions, interests guide them to learn about the projects that interest them. We teach the fundamentals around money, leadership, speaking, communication, and relationships with others. Our goal is to help them enjoy learning and education while developing the skills necessary to pursue their goals, their dreams, and their passions in the world with an entrepreneurial spirit so that they can discover and contribute their unique gifts to the world. We understand the importance of the earth, nutrition, our body, mind, and soul connection, and want the children of Wholehearted Academy to learn and understand this too. Because of this deep connection, many of us feel we may have lost. We'll be adding a farm component to the school for the kids to be able to learn the value of being connected to their own food and the process of growing food and also nurturing and caring for the animals. We promote a soul connection and stillness time with rest in the retreat center with sound baths, yoga, meditation, and so much more. We teach music and song to allow space for self-discovery within nature, and we encourage them to play freely in the enchanted forest with their imagination. The school will prioritize emotional intelligence and the connection to growing our own food, nature, and our connection to the earth. Some of this might be repetitive because they're just like brain dumps that I've had. Prioritizing their emotional well-being and nervous system regulation over useless academics. We'll teach the important subjects while educating them to be critical thinkers, problem solvers, and project creators. giving them the skill set to be heart-centered entrepreneurs, developers, inventors, and creators. Rather than making them obey to conform, we encourage their strengths and help them follow their inherent gifts and work with them to develop the skill sets that they're most interested in. We want to create strong-willed children who can't be indoctrinated or controlled. And we encourage them to stay in touch with their expression, encourage not to hold it all in. And we use dance to express as well as music to help them move through emotion and express themselves. This allows them to carry it into their adult life so they can pull all of these skills of spontaneity, freedom, joy, and happiness. The teachers and kids I envision get to grow up together almost as a pod. And what I actually see eventually is that some of our students, as they get older, will be the guides to support the younger kids, because this is something that back in the day was so critical and crucial, was that those kids, the little kids, learned from the bigger kids. And this is something that when you keep all 5-year-olds together, all 6-year-olds together, all 7-year-olds together, you're missing that. And that's what creates bullying and all of these things, because they don't have older kids to be in there and be like, hey, that's not how it goes, and like have someone to help lead them. And so I envision all ages working together, and eventually, as some of our kids get older, being the guides that support and work and are actually paid, if they want to be paid, to work with these kids and play a role and like really create a family and a community. So that is that. And like, I really truly envision, I was just reading that piece. So I really envision too, I know that like me being able to hold a space for 8 to 12 kids is not enough. And I know it's going to get a lot bigger than this, but I see the first location on my property as like a prototype to master what we want to do with this. And then I really see eventually like being able to help teachers who are wanting to like this is another thing. I can see the need where so many teachers are like, it's crushing their souls to be in the traditional system where they're trying to help 20, 30 kids and it's too much. They can't reach them. They're not able to like meet all of their needs. And that's so tough as a loving, caring individual who wants to support these kids, wants to be there, wants to serve them. But you know that you can't meet all the needs all the time. You see the kids who are struggling and they're not meant to be in that system. You can see it on their faces and how discouraged they feel. Like, I want to serve those teachers also who their heart is in the right place, but they're just in the wrong setting. And I want to be able to help them create, honestly, like their first entrepreneurial journey in a sense, where you don't need to be employed. You can go have a pod and we'll support you in that, where you can have your own pod and have 8 kids together and be able to make more money, the same or more, but support way less kids and actually see them learn and thrive and grow. And like, that's what I envision, is creating the space for not only teachers to have a way better avenue to teach and be educators with these kids, but then also create a space where the kids are in such a better position because of the smaller setting and the freedom to explore, because you're not trying to meet all of these weird government curriculums that sometimes don't make the most sense. So yeah, that's what I really, really see. And then eventually what I also see is like, I want to be able to meet the needs, because this is something that I found out as a homeschool mom, was that, by the way, pear fizz. Oh my God, it is so good. That's what I'm drinking right now. And I'm like, ooh, it just like gets me happy. It tastes so freaking good. Anyways, what I see as a homeschool mom is like, honestly, the resources are not great. And I have so many parents who reach out and they're like, they want to be a homeschool mom, but like, I don't have capacity and I don't want to do that. And I don't know if I could educate them. And it's helping them understand that like, you don't need to be doing school for 6 hours. It's maybe an hour or 2 a day. But I want to create a resource that makes it really easy so that no matter where the mom is, no matter what situation the kids are in, they can take our resources and everything that we're teaching in these classes to their own town, to their own home, whatever they need. I want to make this accessible for everybody. And so what I see happening is that we're going to have an online resource where people can utilize this on the online space if that's what you want, or if you can't live close enough to be able to be at the actual school. And I already know, based on the inquiries, like, we're not going to be able to meet everyone's needs in terms of a physical space to start. But my goal is to start creating a network of teachers to be able to create the space to support all the kids without this ever turning into another school, if that makes sense. Like, I don't want to just go build a massive campus and now we're basically in the exact same position. Like, I don't want that. And so, oh my God, wait, I just had a really great idea that I actually just, whoa, this might be it. Where if we had land and we did like geodomes or something, where it's like all the teachers were on the land and they were in the nature, but then you had little geodomes as little pods. and then all the kids get to play together. So it's like very outdoors based, but still an inside space. That may be the answer eventually. I don't know. That just came through and I'm like, wait, that could be really cool and fun to like try to keep it nature based, but still you want to, like, we live in Canada, man. We need something that's warm. We can't just be outside all day. And so anyways, I'm just like, my mind is going with lots of ideas, but I really, really do want to be able to bridge this gap that I'm seeing. And so that's what we'll be creating. So let me just look at these last few notes because I think this is really cool for you guys to hear. So pretty much like the need that we're filling, these are pieces that if you're ever creating an idea, this is things that you need to know. Like, what's the need that you're feeling? And something else that I wrote for me specifically to think about is like, what are the parents and teachers, what need do they have that we can support them in? And I know we have so much that we can support them in. Like, for example, we know the traditional system isn't working and it's not filling the needs of the kids in the modern world. It's outdated and it's curated to create employees. Parents are looking for alternative options and can't seem to find any that fulfill the needs that they're looking for. And more parents are actually choosing to homeschool. But for the average parent, this isn't feasible. Like, they can't be working parents and then also do school. And like for me, I run a business and then I'm trying to homeschool and I'm trying to be with my kids all day. And it's a lot. Like, I would love to outsource that a little bit. And that's where I got this vision from. Anyways, okay. So what I wanted to share with you though, this piece of it, this is something else that's really cool. Like if you guys don't know my story, I actually almost created a school called Acton Academy. I like went through the entire process in California. And that's where I thought I was going to be opening a school and living, and life had other plans. And clearly I was meant to come back here. But I almost opened it and then something came over me. I didn't end up getting approved, but I felt this like dark cloud. And if you're into spirituality, woo woo, whatever, it's like something about it was not right for me. And anyways, I ended up moving back to Canada. Everything changed. And now here we are. And so anyways, what I was going to say is, first of all, trust your journey. But the second thing I was going to say, wait, what was I going to say with the Acton Academy part? I don't know. It'll come back to me. I initially was, I remember. They don't have teachers. They just have guides. So this is something else where like, we don't need a teacher at the front of the room, like educating and teaching at them all day. It's going to be very much like child-led learning. And they're meant to just be there as a supporter and a role to help guide them, but not be like the teacher, that's like authoritarian. Like, I don't want it to be like that. Okay. Oh shit. That's the wrong thing. Okay. So things that I just feel like we'll end up having, and I actually, like, as I was writing these down, I was having a vision about like hiring for this, and I'm actually really excited to create this, but people who can help. So for example, we'll be bringing in people who can teach about business. We're going to be bringing experts in who can teach about health, bringing in people who can teach about spiritual practices. I really want to, based on the land that we live in, bring in elders and really go back to the roots of the indigenous cultures who lived here first and who harvested this land, lived off this land. I want to bring their practices and their knowledge and their wisdom into this to help these kids understand where they come from and like the practices and the wisdom that was here long before we came in, and to really like honor and show respect for the land that I'm going to be teaching on, because I really feel for honestly, the residential schools and everything that happened here in BC. Like, I feel for that. And I want to bridge that like separation and gap to like bring their wisdom back in, because they have such amazing wisdom that like, if we started raising our kids with that, it would be just such a more beautiful place. And we'd really be like, I feel, healing the planet. Okay. Anyways. So what did I want to talk about? These are all ideas of what we're going to be doing. Okay, here's the last thing that I wanted to say. So how this note started in my phone, you guys, is crazy. Like, I think I was probably at a Danny Morell event, Awaken, where they're like, write down your 10 dreams, like, what do you want? And then you write it down and you're like, oh, okay, whatever. But like, then it starts to, here's the freaking crazy thing. When you write something down, it creates momentum. The second that you declare and decide what you want, it starts to create momentum for the thing that you want. So the minute I wrote this down, you guys, things started moving and aligning. I guarantee it, for like, okay, this chick wants this. Okay, we're going to start maneuvering what we need to get things in order and have things start shifting so that it's ready to come into form when it's time. And here's another thing. I haven't felt, because for a little while I was like, do I really want to do this? Like, what's the point? Like, why do I have to do this? I don't even care about this. Why would I do this? What's the point? And then it came back to me. But this is a thing I know, and this is where your human design is so important. I'm a projector. And so I typically can't act until that inspiration hits. And it hit me literally, how funny, February 22nd, the 222 portal, which this whole journey has been 222, literally yesterday it was like, boom, it's it. This is time. Like hit me like a ton of bricks where it's like, I've been trying to get myself to take action and do stuff over the last little bit. The vision was there. The idea was there. I knew what we were going to create, but the inspiration to take the action wasn't there yet. You cannot beat yourself up. Like I truly believe when it's meant to happen and the timing is right and everything's aligning, it all happens as it's meant to. And right now it was like, okay, it's go time. Let's go. Like this is going to be created. But over the last 2 years, it's just been an idea. And like slowly I was like, okay, I'll find the land and like I'll find a builder and like I'm designing the school. Like all of those pieces are done. But now it's time to actually like build the back end to be able to support all of this. And so the reason I'm telling you that is like, you can't rush what's meant for you. Like if you're already thinking about it, it's already there. It's already yours. Trust the timing because now I have the inspo to go get it done. And as a projector, if you guys are a projector, you know, like once the inspo hits, like that's it. I'm going to be so locked in on this until it's created. But anyways, the reason I'm sharing this is because I wrote the idea in my phone. This is how simple it was. Okay. This is all I wrote. Own a sanctuary with animals and a healing center plus a schoolhouse. That's it. That's all I wrote. Okay. Then I scrolled down in my notes and I found this other part where I wrote down a ton of different, like my 10 dreams. And I had written own a 10-acre property with 2 homes for myself, my parents, plus a retreat center and a schoolhouse. As an animal sanctuary with a regenerative farm. The school is going to be to help kids prioritize wellness and their passions and stay connected with themselves while learning emotional regulation and connection to the earth. Like, this is what I wrote down probably 2 years ago. It was just thrown in there. Okay. Like, and I'm like, holy shit, I haven't looked at this in forever. I didn't even know that these notes existed. My point is when you write things down, you guys trust it. You're giving, when you say, this is what I want, this is what I see, this is what I feel for my destiny, you write it down, you let it go. Things are going to start moving for you. I promise. Just keep it in the back of your mind. You don't need to be like psycho about it. And like, I need this thing and I need this thing and how am I going to do it? Like, don't do that. You don't need to worry. Like things are going to come into play for you. Okay. So now listen to this. Okay. This is where last year, February, I have this right here. Okay. Do you guys remember February of last year? I went looking at this house. You guys, if you're not watching, you may know, you may not. It was this house that was stunning, beautiful. I was in a frenzy. I was like, oh my God, I need it. I need to buy this house. Like this is the house. But it didn't meet all my needs. I didn't have the space to build my parents a house. I didn't know where I could fit the school. And it was only 1.7 acres. And I was like, ugh, like you're being blinded by the beauty of this house, but it doesn't fit your needs. And if you go way back, I have a podcast where I talked about this, staying true to your morals, because the beauty almost made me buy it. But I had a really hard time with the fact that they subdivided the land and they sold it off and they chopped a bunch of trees down in order to make more money and sell more houses. And I didn't like this. Like I wanted to find a property where they hadn't messed with the nature of it. And like, I had a struggle with that. And I was like, okay, even though this is beautiful, it doesn't actually fit all of your needs. Like you're going to have to let this go. And that was February of last year. So I was like, okay, it was really hard for me because I love the house. And I was like, so hyped and excited. Right. But what's is so crazy is like, we're basically going to be recreating this anyway. So like, it's all working out no matter what. But anyway, so I almost bought this house, right? And then in that process, I had to be like, okay, I was looking at houses, stopped looking at houses for a few months because I was like, I don't know, whatever, what's the point? Start looking at houses again. And I was like, okay, it's go time. Like you need to find the land. Like it's time to take action. You need to find the land so that you can get this process moving so that you're actually in a position, because your kid is 6 now and you were supposed to do this by the time he was 6, but you keep delaying it. And so you got to get moving. And I was like, okay. So I'm looking at houses, right? And then I finally had to be like, you're looking everywhere, but you have not gotten clear. You need to get clear. State exactly what you want. I was seeing houses where I was like, why the F are they like $4 million for nothing? Like this one doesn't fit my needs in this way. And I was like, maybe this and maybe that and maybe that. And I was like giving everything a chance, right? Same thing in dating, you guys. Like you're just like, well, maybe this and maybe that. No, get concrete of what you want and hold to that and don't even waver because it works. Okay. So this is what I wrote down. Wait for this. So this is what I wrote down. The description of the property I wanted when I finally got clear. Okay. The only thing missing is the weeping willow tree. So let me share this. So I wrote that I wanted it to be whimsical, meaning like lots of trees that I feel like the kids can go explore. And I have this vision for an enchanted forest. There's a ton of trees where they can go play in the back. I wrote the price point that I wanted to see, which I was hoping with renos that I could stay here, but we're going to be a little bit above it. It doesn't matter. It's pretty close to it. I won't share it just because. I wrote that I wanted a weeping willow tree. We don't have one yet, but we're going to plant one. I said that I wanted to be 2.5 acres plus with the ability for animals, a second unit for my parents plus a school. I wanted expansive ceilings and high ceilings. I wanted there to be 4+ bedrooms and a 2-bedroom detached for my parents. I wanted a large driveway for an easy turnaround. And then I also wrote that I wanted it to be like white, modern farmhouse vibes. Okay. So when I drove up this house that we went to see, I almost didn't go see it because I was like, whatever, like, I don't know. But it was the right price point. It was cheaper than what I'd looked at for anything else. When we drove up, it had the perfect farm space. It was whimsical in the sense of all the trees that were around it. It felt private because this is something else that I wrote, which is not on this list in the school part. But I had written that I wanted it to feel private and not on a busy road. So I'd written all of these details down somewhere else. And when we drove in, it has a long driveway. We're building it for an easy turnaround. Like, it has the long driveway. It has the space for my parents' house. It has the space for the schoolhouse. It's 5 acres instead of 2.5, which when I got really clear with the acreage, I was like, well, maybe 2.5 is good enough. Maybe it's good enough. What do I need that for? And then I was like, no, you want 5. You said you wanted 4 or 5, like, stick to it. That's what you said you wanted. And of course it popped up. And I'm sharing that because it's like, you creating anything, you need to get crystal clear. And the only reason things are not happening for you is because you're not getting crystal clear with what you freaking want. So with that, that's the really high level of what I envision for this school. I just want to see if I had any other notes. Oh, you know what? I'll share this too. So I had written this part down. This is important if you're creating a business, like, get clear on the problem and allow you that, because that allows you to get even clearer on what you're going to do and who you're going to serve. So the clearer you define the problem and speak to that, the easier it is for your client to understand what you're offering. And so for me, like, when I start to go into like marketing and finding the right people, I'm going to be really clear on that. Another part is like, you need to have very aligned vision as an owner. So if you own a business right now, do you live an aligned life and have aligned vision? So for example, like, do you actually live and breathe what you're sharing and selling to people? Do you believe in it so much that you feel it's the absolute best thing for your life? Therefore, you want to share that with other people and give that away. So for me, like, think about it. Let's say you own a wellness center and you see that owner and they don't live it, they don't breathe it. And that's what they're supposedly teaching. Like, you're not going to buy into that, right? And so the thing that I was going to say for myself, it's like, imagine I wanted to start the school, but I'm like, oh, but it's fine. My kids don't go here. They just go to a regular school. It's like, you're going to be like, that's so inauthentic and out of alignment. Like, you need to be living and breathing the thing that you are creating. So people know it's like, it's that authenticity piece, which I think is so valuable and important. Anyway, this is something else I wrote, and then I'll end it there. Actually, I had a couple questions that people sent me, so I'm going to go through that really fast too. So the vision that I see in 3, 5, 10 years down the line for the kids that I work with and who they are and the evolution for who they become in the future. I also think this is really important when you're creating something. It's like, where do you see it going in 3, 5, or 10 years? And I don't even know what I wrote here, but I feel like I want to read it out loud. So I had written, they're self-actualized, they believe in themselves and know themselves and are confident to pursue their interests and dreams, to stand strong and confident in their voice, to know how to develop business strategies that help the world in a positive way while making an income and an impact. They feel intelligent in their natural and unique gifts and have honed in on their unique talents. They're confident to create whatever it is their heart feels led to create in this world. And they have the skill sets of basic survival, how to harvest and cultivate their own food, and how to deeply connect with their own bodies, God, and the source within them. Our boys specifically are leaders and feel connected to themselves, earth, God, spirituality, their heart, and their body, and they're deeply connected to themselves. I just feel like, is that not like the dream that we want for all our sons and our boys and our daughters? I hadn't specifically gone in on daughters because I personally don't have one, but I'll be able to create a vision statement for them too. But I really envision this being the place that they get to grow up just I don't know, honing in on their unique gifts and like going and creating magic in this world because they believe in themselves. So that's kind of my vision for the school. I'm really excited to be able to serve everyone who has already shown interest and like wants their kids there. Some basic questions that I just wanted to answer really quick. Do you guys like how I had to incorporate like teachings for you in your own business, but then also why I'm doing this? Some of the questions I got was just like, is it for 5 years and up? And yes, it will be. It might even be 6 and up. A lot of people asking like, where is it going to be located? So the first location will be in Maple Ridge, BC, and then we're going to expand beyond that. People already are like interested in the UK and interested everywhere. And so I'm going to create something to be able to help the families who don't live locally. And so many people sharing like, I'm in elementary school. I would love to work in a school like this. People offering their support and help. Wondering if it's going to be full time. So I haven't decided yet if I'm going to do a Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then a Tuesday, Thursday split so that different kids can come on different days so that we can serve more people. But I also don't just want to recreate a traditional school system. So I almost think for most kids, 5 days is a lot. And even though they can do it and some parents need it, I'm not sure if I want to do that. I might start with a 3 and 2 split so that more kids get access, and then we'll see if kids want to be coming more. But I'm envisioning like 3 days is a great amount of time to go to school, I feel. I don't like to have to do the same thing every day. I like flexibility. I like a day to be lazy. I don't want to have to get up in the morning all the time. Like I like that freedom. So I don't know if I want to structure it as like a 9 to 5 thing 5 days a week, or it's like, what am I really creating? It's creating that same 9 to 5 structure, which I'm just not sure if I want to do. Okay. And then what are some of the other things? Yeah, people wondering about the cost. We're going to have to factor that in once we kind of see operating expenses, but we're going to keep it very reasonable. Like it's not going to be astronomical at all, but it's definitely going to cost some level of tuition to be able to afford to pay the teachers and the resources and all of that. Probably going to have 8 to 12 kids per program. And so we're like, I want to move there. How do I do this? Anyways, yeah. And then people are wondering about like special education support for kids with just like different, whether they have autism or they need more learning support, all of that. We're going to have to navigate that as we go. I feel like once we have the structure fully complete, then we can navigate adding those types of things in. But in the beginning, I want to keep it really simple to a couple families to navigate getting the structure down perfectly. And then we'll be creating the resources to share with other people so that no matter where you are, you can access that. And then we're going to be creating a resource list of teachers to help hopefully expand this into whatever area you are in. And since I have spoken about it, I wrote it down. I already know this is in creation already because I decided, and then I had the courage to act and do the actions to make the thing come to reality. So I will leave it there. But for all of you who have been a part of this journey, been a part of this vision, who have heard me like mention it, speak about it, and you're just like, whoa, this is crazy. Like it's actually happening. Like the schoolhouse design is in, it's going to be getting built so soon. We already have the teacher locked in. We're already starting on creating resources. Now we just need to get the back end created and finalize the couple first families that get to come in and like, boom, it's done. The business has already been created, all of that kind of stuff. So it's like, it's really cool how it comes together. And what I would just say for you listening is like, it's not hard to create what you want to create. We make it feel like it's really hard because we don't know what we're doing, but like, I don't know what I'm doing. And I'm sure there's going to be different avenues of annoying like legal stuff that I have to create. And I'm just like, I don't care. Like, I'll just create what I need and I'll deal with that stuff later. Like we're allowed to create whatever it is we want in this world. You guys, you can go create it. You don't need a certification. You don't need a business degree. Like just go create the thing that you want to create. So with that, thank you for listening. I really, really appreciate all of you who have played a role in just the support and the encouragement and the excitement of you guys who have been listening and like, holy shit, you've been talking about this for 2+ years and like now it's happening. I want to share with you, like, thank you for being here, but also encourage you, like, you can do the thing that you've been thinking about doing. Go do it and act on it and just trust that your vision is there for a reason. And even if other people have created something before you guys, like no one can take up the marketplace of the thing that you want to create. There's never a shortage. There's never scarcity of option for what you want to create. It is unique in your own light, and go create that thing. So thank you for listening. If you want to get on the wait list and then just even enter your email so you can be updated as like new things come about. And once we have the actual resources up and running, if you're a homeschool parent and you're like, oh my gosh, this sounds amazing, but you want to homeschool or you know the traditional system isn't working, but you don't know where to start with homeschool, we're going to create all of the courses in terms of helping the homeschool mom learn how to homeschool, but then also all the curriculum that you would need to be teaching in a really, really awesome and fun way to support you with providing you with all the resources. Because for me as a homeschool parent, they're everywhere and I don't find it easy. And I want to create one simple platform that's affordable for parents to use monthly. And then we're going to be creating like virtual, like an online academy essentially for people who can't be there physically in person. So yeah, I'm really excited for this journey and I'm so excited to see how many families we can support and help. I've already written down goals of the amount of families I want to reach, how many kids I want to serve. And I'm sharing that with you guys because those little details and those pieces are important metrics to incorporate in your vision. So throwing that out there for all of you. And what else do I have to say? Yeah, just thank you guys for being a part of the vision. I can't wait to watch this as it unfolds over the next few months and the next year. And if you, again, want to be on the wait list or want to be up to date for resources, once all that goes live, we'll send it out. So just add your name to the wait list in the show notes. And thank you for being here. Share this with anyone who is looking for an alternative option. And if you're, or with someone who you know is trying to create a vision, and it doesn't have to be a school, but it could be any business idea that you have, go utilize the tips that I shared and go read The Science of Getting Rich. It is so freaking good. It's really quick too as a book to listen to, and just go manifest. I don't even want to use the word manifest because it's like you are the one that sets the intentional thought out there and then you go create it, but go do the thing that you want to do. You're more than capable. So thank you for being here. I thought this would be 30 minutes, but I talked for 50. Thank you guys. We'll see you in the next episode. Hit subscribe if you haven't already. I really, really appreciate it. Follow the podcast, whether it's on Apple or Spotify or YouTube, wherever you are listening. That is really helpful too, to get the viewers and the users up. So I appreciate it. Thank you for being here. And we will see you in next week's episode.